Peace. What up, though? Turn on what time, goddamn? We in the building. Yes, everything. On the Friday. Peace. What up, though? Turn on what time, goddamn? We in the building. Yes, everything. Tree says movie night, man. So 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Central Time tonight. Uh we do have BCU movie night. So y'all mark y'all calendars, goddamn. We do have BCU movie night. What's up, Juice? What's up, Trees? Kerry? Twisted? What's up, Twisted by Mix? Come give me a hug. How you feeling? On this Friday? That boy from Florida in there, hoe fired up, goddamn. Sister Moon, I see you. Dark Chief, what up, though? Keys Kona in the building. What's up with you, Kiki? Dead McKirkendall in there, hoe. He say family is it's Firewater Friday, goddamn. Okay, He's starting early, goddamn. Copper Skin King in there, hoe. Sweet Libra. Yanni versatile. It's the versatility for me. What's up with it, Vito? Turn up one time in a real way. Renzo D228 in there, hoe. You ain't got no sales over there on the You ain't got no Friday sales today, Renzo. Goddamn Louis Hinton in the building. What up, though? Nay, come give my hug, Nay. How you feeling? Joe 47. Okay, here come these Bow Money and Orange, Texas niggas, Port Arthur niggas coming in, the Texas Triangle. They must rolled up here, came down I-10 together, goddamn. In a real way, man. Tonight, yes, everything. BCU movie night, man. So get y'all drinks, y'all popcorn, your good smoke, your vape pens and shit, man. Go get your blanket. And yeah, man, we're gonna go through that tonight. Um got a good bill today, man. Got a lecture coming up. I'm gonna be real though. We didn't make way for the lecture today, so we will be moving the date. It'll probably be Sunday. Can we do that Sunday? We might have to do it tomorrow. I think I'm gonna be busy Sunday. Ooh, I hope I'm busy Sunday. Yeah, hope I'm too busy to come fuck with you niggas on Sunday, goddamn. But we got a great bill coming up. What that motherfucker called? Black is the new cocoon. Yeah, the new cocoon. And I said it, I meant it, I represent it, and a debate can come with it. If a nigga feel like, they want to line this shit up, I never lose to a nigga that claim black. I never lose to a nigga that's a Hebrew. I never lose to a Pan African, bro. Cutting Junior in the building. Oh, hi, yo, turn on one time. What's up with it, Wild Old Wesley? Yeah, see, I never lose to a nigga uh, um, who identifies black. I go as far as saying it. A nigga who identifies black ain't got no business trying to debate no motherfucking body. Especially not about identity. We're gonna get that shit out the way right now. Um, this is my name. This is my game right here. The black card. That black card, listen, when we see them constantly change this status, um, when the motherfuckers say, well, then why are you changing the status? And their explanation is that it's outdated. So listen to me, family. That black shit is outdated. So then my thing. What do niggas do now? Do you wait on the government, mama and daddy them, to give you a new name? Is that what we waiting on? Or do you gatekeep black? Do we sit around and wait on these hoes to give us a name to identify as, or do you wait on them over give you a name to identify, or do you try to gatekeep it? Now I'm gonna tell you, bro, ain't nothing like a slave with a motherfucking ego. Shout out to Cyrus Sue City. I got that from him. He said ain't nothing like a slave with an ego. So do you go try to fight the oppressor to stay in this slave state as black? I want y'all to understand what's taking place here. She hoisted. What's up with it, Natty? Come give me a hug. I want y'all to understand Big Draco in there, hoe. Macadon 1, I see you. And so that's what we here to talk about today. Do niggas are niggas really about to try to gatekeep black? Niggas are running around this whole gatekeeping black. I want to show you something. It's just too much trauma. It's too much emotionalism tied to the black shit. Black is the trick bag, bro. I say that for the lecture. But black is the trick bag. If any nigga, if you have eyes, I'm gonna tell you. And shout out to all you crypto currency fanatics. I'm not telling nobody how to get their money or what to do. But I see all you niggas. I even see what's that what's them boys called? You got the Nation of Islam boys, the RZA and them, the Ben X, the 19 Keys and shit like that, right? You know, they running around, they teaching people the importance of cryptocurrency and the blockchain and how to get in the game. And I'm gonna tell you something, bro. It's missionary work. You see them niggas that put down Allah, Jesus, the Bible. Them niggas used to walk around with a Quran in their hand trying to sell you Allah. That shit they ain't work. Now they pushing crypto and the blockchain and shit like this here. It's all good, bro. Do your hustle, do your shit. But I'm gonna tell you, when a nigga trying to amalgamate you into the system, man, you gotta understand something, bro. Any nigga that got eyes can see. When the US came to niggas, let's say the 14th Amendment, and they offered niggas a place in the US system, and they offered them a seat at the table, a piece of the pie. One of the games was that they would have to bring the people in. I want y'all to see how important this shit is. Cryptocurrency, any nigga that's feeling like, oh, this is the future, this is what we need to get into. Well, that's why a lot of those slave owners made those decisions that they made back then. That's why a lot of them chose to do away with the old way and go into and integrate into the new way. You feel me? And now we got our own people out here encouraging us to assimilate into these people program. Once they get it, this guy gonna lock full control over it. It's not gonna be the same. It's you gotta watch the board, bro. When they had the paper currencies going around, then we see them evolve and then take out the coin system, right? From John Law to the Benjamin Franklin them in the colonies. We've watched this play take place. When they got them to stop using our means of trade or currency, they integrated you into their means of currency. And once they integrated you into their means of currency, you lost all power. You understand me? Now it's $6-7 at the gas pump now because you lost all power, especially over the control of currency, what we accepting, what we not accepting. And so you got our own people merging us into this crypto shit. That ain't gonna do nothing but big. Listen, nigga, if you owe taxes, if you owe money, all it's gonna do is get them control and all power over your assets. Check. I remember when Bitcoin, we go back to 2015. They were saying Bitcoin, the black market, you can't do nothing. And then that next year they came out, you had to file it on your taxes. Well, damn, nigga, are we you feel me? Is it a way to maneuver? Is it a way to get away from taxes? Because see, back then the game was to tell you that the government had nothing to do with it. Yeah, see, back then the game was that the government had nothing to do with crypto, and that you know, this was some shit you could get into on your own and be independent. They can't trace you and all this type of shit here, bro. You can't tax it. And then all of a sudden you get taxed. Now they taxing the motherfucker. So all of these in 20 when you had the Benghazi situation going on, you had the Libya situation going on, and all of these African immigrants, check. And somebody told these African immigrants to go there. This is where you'll find work. And at the same time, they were bringing them into a position where they can be in this forced labor. Well, this was by design. It's by the same motherfuckers who brought you your crypto. You know, they came out and said that a teenager from Canada created Ethereum. Shit like this here, bro. We got to watch the signs. No different than Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and all of these people that they gave. They say nigga was at a college trying to fuck some hoes, so he created Facebook. Now Facebook has everybody information. They know where you are. They got your conversations, your pictures, and come on, man, this shit here is crazy. Like I said, shout out to being them, shout out to Keys, them, shout out to a lot of these people out here who are pushing it. But the writing is on the wall. These are, you niggas are becoming our modern day missionaries to integrate us into this society where these hoes have total control. Right now, they can't count the money you got in your mattress. They can't count the drug money, but see, once it all get electric, they see everything, every transaction. They have full control to go in and press a button and take everything you have. If you owe something, we don't have to come looking for you. You ain't got to worry about us blowing your motherfucking phone up, nigga, with niggas trying to see if we can get paid today. Let you know you owe on this here. Listen, homie, they just hit the button. All you PPP loan niggas, you niggas might be first. yeah, all you niggas winning that bitch and hit for 10s and 20s and 30s. You nigga might be first. Nigga turn on that bitch and he just locked that. Bitch, yo, funds are insufficient until you pay back that student loan debt. Funds are insufficient. Yeah, ain't no more direct deposit. You ain't got no choice no more for direct deposit. Ain't no choice for direct deposit no more, bro. Appreciate that, bitch. You owe that. I need that. Yes, sir, then. And so we got to understand, man, even since the early days, early 1700s, when these Sephardi's was in Carolina, man, and they were trying to, they were putting the Indians on this credit. And, it was starting to be hard to track down these Indians, bro, who I done gave this credit to. They was quite elusive. But ever since then, they were trying to find a way to gain total control of it. What the Rothschilds say, I don't give a fuck who the king. I don't give a fuck who is the king of the goddamn country, as long as we are making the currency. As long as we producing the money, I don't give a fuck who the king, who the governor, who the president. Long as I am controlling the currency, nobody can ever win. So we integrate our people into this system, and I'm gonna tell you, some people gonna get rich off of it. Some people are gonna capitalize off of it. But in the end, it's gonna be detrimental to us as a people. So any nigga out here encouraging it, I told you I was one of the biggest fanatics. Nipsey Hussle put me on. My people from London sent me a video with Nipsey Hussle, and they're talking about cryptocurrency. And man, it resonated, and I took out, bro. And I was one of the biggest advocates. I was running around telling niggas about cryptocurrency. I think Bitcoin was at like 3,300 or something like that. So it was accessible back then. And then it shot up, but it shot up at the height of the motherfucking Libya slave trade. And I said, wait a minute, bro. I had to take my assets about that motherfucker because I didn't want to be a part of it. And then you got some money hungry niggas out there like, nigga, you tripping. But see, y'all the same niggas that was the slave owners. Y'all were the black slave owners on the plantation. Y'all niggas was the ones that was getting in the system talking about I got to get ahead of the curve before this shit here crank up. That was you niggas sitting at the table with these colonizers talking about you looking into the future and you see the world is changing and you need to make sure that And so it was a lot of niggas thinking for self, and then we look up, and then these the same niggas talking about we need black unity, we need black, well, we need to pool our resources and all this shit here. But you are integrating us into a system, man. And then you have some people say, well, it's gonna happen anyway. You know what I'm saying? What's up with it, Shan? Turn up one time, give me my hug. Big Shake in the building. What up, though? Yeah, you know, you got a lot of people saying, well, it's gonna happen anyway, so we might as well make sure we're on the right side of history. And then we turn around and we say, well, all of us, all black people, we need to get together and we need to know you're motherfucking lie. You motherfucking lie. Because I want you to understand something. The niggas who gonna lose in that situation, the people who gonna lose the most in that situation is our people. You feel me? It's gonna be us who this is gonna be most detrimental to. Why do we say that? Because we look up now. I mean, you go through the history of this country. You talking about enslaving the people on their own land. You talking about amalgamating these people and then breed them out, and they become a class of immigrants. And so, will they have no indigenous rights here? That's what's taking place right now. Man, if you are into your genealogy, one thing you will see is that in the 1960s, the 1970s, when they brought the civil rights, the whole point of bringing that civil rights movement then was to wash out the old. Okay, like I keep saying, they wanted to integrate niggas into this new society so you can forget about the past. It's simple, family. And what I'm saying is, all we have to do is just watch the playbook. And so when they came, you got to understand, man, in 1960s, bro, most of those people were alive. They were alive doing those, or they have grandparents. You feel me? Their families were directly affected by what had happened in this country. You gotta understand, niggas that was around in the 60s and 70s, they knew their grandparents. Their parents was born in 1913, 1920 and shit. So their grandparents was been born around 1850s, 1860s, 1840s in some cases. So those stories were there. Those stories were there. Shan say my family was bred out. It hurts me. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. One of the reasons why we ain't doing the lecture today is because, man, I've been looking, I've been in my genealogy, bro. I took a break on it, and I've been in it, and man, I've been getting so far. I've been finding so much, putting so much together. Since Tuesday night, as of today, waking up today, because I was on it all night last night again, fell asleep on it. I put almost 400 people on my tree since Tuesday, and it's Friday. I put almost 400 extra people on my tree since Tuesday. 400. And the story opening it up, man, and shout out to Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. Man, Junior's had ran something by me back in the game, and one of his things he wanted to always do, man, you know, for our boxing community, he wanted to do a trip to Louisville, Kentucky, man. They got the Ali Museum down there. This was about 2 years ago that he brought it up. And man, I find out I got family in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. Now, when I talked to my people in them, they told me that it goes back to Louisiana. Well, little did they know is that it originally came out of Kentucky, and it went from Kentucky down to Alabama. I'm just an Alabama ass nigga, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm talking about damn near every one of my lines touched Alabama, bro. But went through Alabama, then it went through Louisiana, and they ended up in Texas. On that line, I go back to 1801 on that line, and you know, I'm at a brick wall right there on that. But man, I got 9-time grandparents. I have 8 times in certain situations. I have 6 times. You know, and it's a lot telling the story, but You know, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we ain't no slavery here and all of that." Well, that wasn't for my case, man. I actually do find slaves in my family, not documented as a slave, but well, I take that back because I do have ancestor on there who do have slave girl by name. Let me show y'all something too. What tripped me out, right, is look at Junior. He say Louisville is the truth. A whole lot of Ohio River shit. Yeah, man, we gonna have to touch that, man. I didn't know man, I ain't know nothing about it. I had no in South Carolina, you know, I got a Huguenot line came through South Carolina, and they ended up uh, marrying my six-time grandma, coming out of that area, man. But the history for the family, man, they documented it so well. But they did have like slave quarters. So on that side, it's actually a black side and a white side. So whenever we see those, black side and the white side. But I got pictures of my fifth grade grandpa, um, his wife, and they whole list is identified as mulattoes, and we see them identified as mulattoes coming all the way up into the 20th century, where we start seeing Negro on that shit. Very interesting, man. Shout out to Genealogy. Shout out to anybody out there who on a genealogy mission, bro. Do not give up. Do not give up on your genealogy, man. Man, find your story, bro. Um, When I say every war from the revolution, I got Revolutionary War records. I have Civil War records. I got 1812 Mustard Road records. I have World War One records. I have World War Two records. I got Vietnam records. And this the shit right here that's, you know, our family fought, shed blood, put work in for this shit here. Um I found a coastal arm in my shit. Not no little bitty white boys neither. I won't even call them white boys, but not no little bitty European neither. I found some big Europeans. I found I got a line. They go back and you know we call it our colonizer line. I got a colonizer line. They go back to the original people who built up Lancashire in Europe. And that's where a lot of this shit that was coming from. Where they came here to South Carolina, made a play right there in the heart of what would become what separated the Low Countries and and they were given land by King George III, right there in the buffer area of the Low Country, right? These niggas was Germans, bro. Well, there wasn't no such thing as Germany. Now they came from Switzerland, and if you know about the history of South Carolina in that area right there, that buffer zone, you had the Germans come in. These people that call Germans today, but Dutch ass niggas, and you had them come in, and they were allotted plots right there to separate uh, uh, the Europeans and the Low Countries and the buffer for the Indians. Some goddamn Indian was wild. So even while they was slave raiding, they was taking some of those Indians, they was enslaving those people on their land. And I found out that's what happened to my family. To the point to where they interbred and their family, both of those families left South Carolina and they came to Texas. Um, and they've been in that same place where I'm gonna get buried on that land. They've been there ever since. And it's been generation after generation after generations of our families coming out of there. And like saying, say it hurt, bro. I wish I could have did something about it. You know what I mean? Somebody else been doing that genealogy over there, bro, because they have pictures up and everything. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I shed a tear. I'm looking at them people. I ain't never met them, but I'm looking at them. They got my last names, and you know what I'm saying. And I don't know. I start thinking about my grandma and shit, and it fucked me up. But one thing that I found out that I did have wrong in my shit was the whole time I was looking, they was like, they always told me my grandpa, great grandpa, he owned a lot of land. Well, come to find out, that land that he owned wasn't really his. It was my grandma, my great grandma. She died in the 60s, and he sold the land in the 80s. Motherfucker. So before I just get to getting down on pops like that, I do want to ask some more questions to my family. So I'm gonna be doing that today, reaching out on this weekend, trying to get in touch with some of my aunties and see what the hell going on. Because from the looks of it, when I went through her line, her family had all the land. And he married her. And so I'm trying to see if this nigga, he passed as a white man. So I'm trying to see if this motherfucker then goddamn ran off with the land and the money and shit. And went and had a new family. That part. What's up with it, Kenny Brooks? Turn up one time. Sweet Libra in the house. Angie Gal. She say bang that like button. Yeah, jump on the like, bro. Y'all been having them lights looking real weak. Warrior King say, I'm still stuck on my grandmothers. I want to find them so bad because I know where they came from. Just don't know the tribes. Yeah, and that's a lot of situations, man. So this nigga here talking about her barbarians. Man, go on up. Oh, she said Barbadian. I thought she said barbarian. I thought because I called him a colonizer, I thought she took it a step farther to call him a goddamn Conan the Barbarian. She said my Barbadian side is very sad. My dad is scared to do our genealogy. They just try to forget the past. And that's what happened. See, when we go along, we got to understand that along with trying to do away with the past, there's been a political agenda for us to erase the past. And so we look at the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was to usher in a new day, to close out a past and usher in a new day. That's why it was kids. It was the teenagers that was, you understand me, that was in this movement, man, the college students and shit like that. They were the ones who had led that movement. And that was because they were going to wash away the old heads because they knew too much. They was there. They knew when the land was there. They know how the land was taken. And these people made sure that we're gonna get these people they erased it. And then what happened? We left there and went into black status. That shit they erased everything you niggas ever had. A black nigga ain't never had shit. Black nigga ain't never owned shit, ain't never been shit, but a gangbanger, a crack baby, a nigga who breaking your cars, snatch purses, a nigga who was from prison to pipeline system. A black nigga ain't really never did shit. You can't go give me a black leader. Go give me a black nigga that ain't motherfucking did anything for anybody or to help us get out of any position. A black nigga can't save us. A black nigga can't do a motherfucking thing for his damn self. A black nigga ain't shit. Black nigga is a motherfucking puppet for the left, period. That's all a nigga work in this day, especially 2022. A black nigga is finna goddamn me. I want y'all to think about black in 20 years. Where is black in 20 years? Gatekeep black if you want to. In 20 years, we think them hoes has been writing us out since the civil rights era. Nigga, you really ain't gonna have shit. Black is a immigrant status now. Ain't nothing to talk about, nigga. This is the way that the nigga who gave you black, who gave you that identity, these civil rights niggas who gave you that identity, black is a status for immigration in the United States. It's nothing to talk about. She didn't say black in 20 years, the nigga gonna be dead in the donut. See, Moses say that's why they started saying the first black person to do, even though we've been doing that, we just wasn't labeled black. Correct, brother. And well, when they first started doing that is when they started their system, right? So that'll come back in Reconstruction. We're really not in Reconstruction because early Reconstruction had a lot to do with, but that's where they started at, Reconstruction. And it'd be mostly in the jurisdiction when they start gaining jurisdiction, this false jurisdiction here in the United States. And then from there, they they collected their data. And it only went by niggas who had their bloodline, European bloodline. What's up with it, Roberts? The homie Roberts say, I'm searching for my mother birth certificate. Does anyone have any ideas on where to look? Y'all drop that down there for the fam. Man, I wanted to go over something, man. I had some white boys last night. I'm scrolling, bro. Had to take a genealogy break, and I'm scrolling through the neighborhood, and I run across some white boys. Yeah. Immigrant shit. White boys in that hoe talking this shit. And they talking about how white folks started America, and this is a Christian country, and niggas ain't shit, and yeah, they were turning up. You hear me? So I sat there for a little bit. I was eating my little spaghettios and shit. I'm sitting there eating my spaghettios. It had to be by like 11 p.m. at night. I'm eating my spaghettios, smoking my good blunt, drinking my good Texas tea, full of that oil, man. And I really was out slow motion and grumpy on that oil. And I said, man, fuck these niggas, man. And I sat there for a little minute and I said, you know what? After I finished my little spaghettios, I went on to put my shoes on and shit, took my shirt off, and I said, hey, look out, white boy, can I get a fade? Cause I'm about to leave, man. Do y'all mind? 1, 2, 3, y'all. Do y'all mind running 3 fades before I get up out of here? They had some black dude came up there. He ain't have it, but you know, they was on his head. He ain't really had the answer, Sway. He couldn't really figure it out. You know, they tried to jump him. I said, all right, well, jump me then, nigga. I ain't, you know, jump me then. All right, let's go through that real quick. OJ Dubs in that hoe. What up, though?
Look at their lineage, their descendants, and their ancestors, which is documented through censuses, these types of information, and we can easily trace it to European peoples. They are not anything.
Hey, y'all, let me know what the sound like. Hey, y'all, jump on that like button, the Freedom Podcast. He said, is it true that no Black Americans have lineage on the Dawes Road? Nah, that's not true. It's plenty of people. Look, the first indication is to go back to the 1866 treaty because that's what the Dawes Road based off of. And right there, and legally, yeah, Black folks, we did get our share. You got to remember, we won the Civil War. Black Indians won the Civil War, and those in Indian territory at the time was rewarded through the 1866 treaty. And it's written in law that, hey, this always has to stand. They always have to get what they gonna get. And then we see in 2017 with the Cherokee versus Nash case, they actually had to give them full citizenship. So yeah, they do actually have it. But you know, once we get together, man, we can come back because the Dawes Road and all those things are not set in stone. You know what, brother? I got something for you. You know what? I'm gonna play part of the making of a Cherokee, and so we can illustrate that point a little more clear. Just give me a little time. Let me knock this out, and then we'll go through that part to show everybody what we mean from the 1866 treaty to the Cherokee Nash case. We're gonna walk it down and show exactly what happened and what. And I want y'all to understand something. Legally, them niggas went in that bitch. That's civil. The Cherokee version Nash niggas can beat that case. You can beat that case. They just gave them folks all that land in Oklahoma, bro. Listen, what they really did was just transfer it over to more white people. Because if we seen 1919, after 1919, the U.S. government started appointing chiefs to the tribe. You hear me? 1919, nigga, the U.S. president started appointing motherfuckers. And then it came a time where them hoes just had no power. They suffocated them bitches and took everything. After the Curtis Act, they came back and they gave the new Indian deal. It was over with, bro. There's no such thing as a Native American. They programs. They, you know, all that land is in United States Trust. Them niggas don't own nothing. They don't get nothing. We got to understand, bro, at the turn of the 20th century, or even before then, they was creating this. When you look at, I don't want to go into that right now, but let's walk, man. Let's get through these white boy real quick.
Else, stupid to classify them as something else. All of history agrees that they're European. There you go.
Well, not everyone from Europe was what you would call white today.
That's okay. So can you give me an example?
That is actually
Yeah, so can you give me an example so I can specify that?
Okay, well, before I give you an example, you have to define what white is.
Well, you know, white is a pretty broad term, I think, and I use white to trigger, but I think a better definition of what the founders were, more specifically, were Anglo-Saxon. They were descendants of the English nation. They were ethnically from the British Isles, so they were Anglo-Saxon. White typically refers to somebody of Western Europe.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that's how you want to define it, I would certainly say that I have no evidence that all of the founders were white.
Well, again, you would be stupid then, because
I would say that I'm far from stupid. That's probably not the direction you want to take the conversation.
well, it's just, are you being serious? Like, can you name one founder that isn't of Western Europe or even Eastern Europe? I mean, you can't. Like, there isn't any founders that are not from the European continent, or their descendants aren't, or their ancestors are not from the European continent.
So my argument isn't where they're from. My argument is, how do you know if they were all white? So you define white, and so now you can go back to see where they're from and determine whether or not everyone from that place is what we would call white.
Okay, can you name one founder that isn't what I just defined?
So that's not, that has nothing to do with my point. My point is,
I understand what your point is.
My question is
based on
there a reference
questioning
that describes these folks, each one of them, as white?
Sure. Like modern day, every single historian would agree that these are European people, based off of the population, based off of the way that they were described, based off of the way that they're imaged. Okay, yes, people can draw different things, but when you have hundreds of drawings of the same person and they all look exactly the same, or they have similar features, this is like kind of stupid.
So modern historians are not primary sources.
Okay, I just gave you a primary source of how the ancestors or how the founding fathers are white. They have the lineage that traces back to Europe. There you go. We see that through censuses taken at the time by the British company.
G5 Gabe, what's up with it, family? Turn up one time, man. My nigga G5 Gabe up in this motherfucker. Hey, man, I flipped the chat. I gotta tell all my LDBC people, I flipped the chat, man, and I didn't see y'all, so I couldn't give you a wrench. Right now, my buttons, I ain't got my buttons, man, to give you a wrench, but it ain't nothing like that. I just had to let you know, goddamn. But it's good to see you, family. Turn up one time.
Commonwealth, or sorry, by the British Empire. So, there you go. There's your primary source. Do you like that answer?
Y'all hit it right.
If that's your answer, it's your answer. It doesn't matter if I like it or not. I was just asking a question. Do you have a primary source to determine whether or not they're all white?
Jimmy, is the census a primary source to you?
It depends on the data that's in the census.
Okay, can you give me an example of what a primary source would be?
A primary source would be letters, journal and diary entries that describe interactions that happened from folks.
Okay, so your
it could also be
primary source that is not the standard
newspapers.
That is not the standard that we have in terms of like what we view as what primary sources are, right? So a good example of like a primary source in terms of history of a land would be the Ecclesiastical Journal of the British people, and it's written by Bede the Bard. And that is a primary source. So most of the information that we derive from England pre-600 AD comes from him. So that comes from letters or things. So with that, in your case, that would not be a primary source. Luckily, we don't go off of your visions of what a primary or secondary source is. If we did, we would have no such thing as a primary source.
Y'all hear these niggas, bro? White folks stupid. Stop letting white folks talk to you like they smart, like they know something, or like they got any fucking history in this country. I'm sitting there, I'm eating my SpaghettiOs, but I say I'm about to slap the shit out this white boy when I get up. You hear me? Yeah, nigga, I'm about to palm your shit, bitch. Bitch, you just Keep on feeling smart, bitch. I hope you got on glasses, cause I'm finna slap them bitches off your head, ho.
Luckily, we rely on censuses and well-known common sense, of the time period, these types of things. Luckily, we don't rely on journal entries of somebody. Keep in mind, people can lie in journal entries. When you talk about history, when you talk about these types of things, you have to look at society. You have to look at these, these people. What were they doing? They were clearly European. They were clearly of a European descendant line. So, there you go. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole anymore. I think it's stupid. I think what you're doing is stupid. I think it's weak. It's weak footing. It has no strength whatsoever.
Well, interesting choice of words, but I think those words are more reflective of your willingness to have a conversation than anything that I've offered.
No, I'm not willing to have, well, exactly right. I'm not willing to have a conversation about something that is accepted as a fact. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not going to argue with somebody that believes the earth is flat because they look out at the horizon and it looks flat to them. This is not.
Hey, Joey say, what did the five fingers say to the face, white boy? Go to sleep. That's what the motherfucker said. Go to sleep.
What I deal with truth, and I deal with facts.
That would be a primary source if they put that in a tweet.
Exactly, right? So I don't deal with these stupid arguments that have no fundamental backing and relying totally on questioning. These people were clearly European. They clearly had a European ancestral tie.
Sue said she had the lie about to come out the showroom floor on you niggas ass. I got the giggles. I'm just out here balling out of control. I had to chuckle. When you balling out of control, you gotta chuckle, Yeah, she in there drinking complimentary Mercedes-Benz water. They got their own brand. And just loving life. It's a beautiful day. It's cold outside. She ain't got no coat on. Goddamn, the money gonna warm up. She got new seat warmers coming in the dealership. Yeah. Oh, man, the heater go from 0 to 99, nigga, in 2.3 seconds. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I'm just out here doing a little balling. Don't mind me. I'm just doing a little balling back here.
And there's no arguing that. There's no, you can ask all these questions you want. What are the primary sources? Primary source is censuses taken at the time and ancestral ties. That is a classic example of a primary source.
So them being from Europe, even though we both acknowledge that not everyone from Europe is what we would consider white.
They are from England. They're Anglo-Saxons.
All of them?
Okay. Yes, actually, almost 90%, or I think it's like 95% of the founding fathers were Anglo-Saxon, and 5% were Germanic. So yeah.
So that's not all of them.
But they would be classified as white. That would be white. That would be a Western civilization enjoyer, somebody that.
You hear these niggas, bro? One thing I don't like, these niggas be trying to take. Listen, whenever you hear a motherfucker talking about Western civilization, they automatically try to make it white folk. And I blame Pan-Africans. That's the Pan-African fault. You got to understand, Pan-Africans are saying everything. Everything that white supremacists say, Pan-Africans say it, bro. Western civilization is not white European. That is black European. Why do you say that, Chief? Because Western Europe civilization was occupied by black people. The niggas came in first, and then the white boys came. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm finna max him out. I'm finna knock this whole front teeth out. What? I'm just sitting back, bro. Y'all got mine. I had been sitting there 30 minutes. They been looking at me. Cause see, when I came in there, when nobody was there, it was 4 white boys on the panel. So when I came in, they were just sitting there. I sat there 20 minutes. They was trying to pull me up, talking shit. Oh, he's an Indian and Yeah. I'm just sitting there, bro. I ain't said nothing. Then some other nigga came in. I don't know if he knew me or not, but he went in and went straight to business. What's up? He said, I see y'all want to fuck around tonight. Come on with it. And, you know, they got the tussling out there. They, you know, they kind of getting the best of the nigga. But, you know, I ain't done with dinner yet. So I'm just enjoying the show.
Has lived in Western civilization. Ancestors lived in Western civilization. Protestants. These are like all of the like go-tos in terms of like their race.
Okay, that's fine. I was questioning the title and whether or not you have primary sources, so I guess the answer is no.
Okay, here I
the
come.
answer is yes. Your version of a primary source actually makes no sense.
I think I'm done with dinner.
Even if all of the founding fathers,
where's that napkin that was sitting next to me?
Let's say all the founding fathers were Chinese. The majority of the population was white. They were Anglo-Saxons. They were Germanic. They were French. Most of them were Anglo-Saxons. This is a land of that group of people. This is a nation of these people, right? They made up the super majority of the population. What does super majority mean? It means 90% or higher. Okay, so you know that would make it a white nation.
You got down on my boy. My boy don't want no trouble.
He's taken at a time. The registers, you know, these are things that you have to rely on if you look at history.
These are the particulars you have to rely on if you're gonna do this type of research. Okay, you got that nigger? That's how you do a black nigga. That's how you talk to a black nigga. That white boy get in there just sounds smart. You hear me? That shit only work on black niggas. I'm gonna let that one ride. I'm gonna let that one sit on you. You hear this white boy, you hear that confidence he talking in? Put the white boy voice on and everything. Got a little authority coming behind that. You hear him? And he's teaching this nigga. That's how he feel. He feel like he teaching this nigga. You can see a little missionary conversion in there. What he tell that nigga at the end? So these are the things. These are the particulars you want to look into. Okay, and you remember that 95%. Okay, were white. You remember that, boy? When I brought you on that boat over here from Africa, maybe I should have taught you how to read. Maybe I should have taught you what a primary source was when I brought you nigga ass from Africa. But you was too busy. You was too busy working in the fields. Nigger boy, don't you ever get out your motherfucking body again. You fucking nigger boy. Don't you ever fucking get out your body again. You think you're gonna come in here and challenge me. You get on down yonder before I fucking hang you from that tree out there, you fucking nigger, you black monkey bitch. And tell your wife to come here. I want to Netflix and chill.
About the population of the founding fathers. So you kind of
Talking about
goalposts.
I gave.
Uh-oh, y'all heard that button go off? They done let me in. Uh-oh. I'm in, nigga. I done put the mask on, nigga. I slid the mask out of here, nigga. Y'all heard that?
So you kind of
Talking about
goalposts.
I gave you. I played your ball game and I said, look, let's say they're all Chinese. It doesn't matter. The majority of the people, 90% of the population, is of this cloth, which makes it this. The founding fathers were all part of that cloth as well, despite whether.
Oh my bad, y'all. Please excuse. I'm over here rolling up.
If you believe it, then I'm not going to argue with your belief.
Look at it. He done converted that nigga. You hear him? That nigga said, "Is Jesus your what he tell that nigga? Is Jesus your savior, your master?" He said, "Look, man, I didn't come here for that." He said, "Do you give your life to the Lord and Savior, Master, the one true God, Jesus of the Christ. He say, hey, nah, that's some cold shit though. White boy put that white boy voice on, bro, and I'm gonna tell you, it worked. He broke him. He broke him in the end. He got that nigga, bro. He tapped in. It's a button. See, you niggas don't even know about the button. You niggas gotta know about the button. Pan-Africans know about the button. They over there with the white boy. It's a button. I'll tell y'all know my favorite interview in the whole world when it comes to this Indian shit is Chief Kalinago versus the Cherokee Nation. That's my favorite video. I don't give a fuck. Favorite video. What the white boy Cherokee do? He went in there, he went after that button. And nigga hit that big red button. That big red button, nigga, supposed to make your ass go like the Material Man. What's that goddamn move? What they call this shit? Yeah, it's a button go out, nigga. You go back colonize, you go back zombie. Yeah, nigga got a button in your ass, nigga. That white boy told colonize, you're from Africa. Like it or not, you came here from Africa. Hey, and he told him like 2-3 times, and he kind of stumbled him, right? I ain't gonna lie. He said, Colinago was like, say, because it's 2 things can happen to you. I ain't gonna lie, damn, it happened to me. Fucking with Jabari, bald head ass. Jabari tried to do me like that. You're from Africa. And then they get to slapping tables and, you know, throwing their hands up and shaking their head like you tripping and like, you're from Africa, a confused African, but you're an African. White boy told that nigga Colinago, nope, you're not a Cherokee. I'm a Cherokee. You're brought here from Africa on a boat. And then he told him 3 times in a row. I guess that's how they train you at the school. They say you got to say it 3 times in a row and blink your eyes every time you do it. Blink, 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 blink. And then you got to say, you're not from America. You're from Africa. You were brought here on boats. So watch this here white boy that got the low tone on him like a priest. Yeah, nigga that went missionary on that nigga.
Sean, what do you believe?
I believe I don't have enough information to know for certain, so I continue to look for primary sources.
Put your mind, close your eyes and put your mind on Jesus. Bow your head. Yeah, put your mind on Jesus. Jesus, we got a boy that come here today. He lost, God. He's lost in the wilderness. His soul is in many places, Lord. He's searching for self. He finds himself on the road and he's searching for self. And the road, the road got tough on him. It got rough on him. He went through trials and the tribulations, God, and he's trying to find a home, and his heart is lonely, and the world is cold, God, and Jesus threw a blanket around his shoulders. Jesus threw a blanket around his shoulders and told him, come home. Come on home. What was that again, boy?
Continue to look for primary sources, enough information.
Sean, what do you believe?
I believe I don't have enough information to know for certain, so I continue to look for primary sources.
White boy whispered, okay. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for sharing that. It takes a lot. I understand what you've been through, Sean. I'm here for you, brother. I am here for you, brother. Come on home. Jesus, Jesus been waiting on you. Yeah. Jesus said, "Where you gonna let a nigga fuck?" With that bang on his eye. Jesus standing there with that bang, with the brunette bang on his eye. Yeshua. Oh, you niggas doing that.
What are you leaning towards right
I'm leaning towards looking for more primary sources.
All right, bro. Come on. My turn.
You're breaking up. Can you say that one more time, please?
What's something that you're certain about?
Math, physics, chemistry, biology.
Are you alive?
now? Do you have any kind of belief system, Sean?
Well, that would be biology, yes. Being alive.
A biology textbook determines if you're alive?
Well, you said textbook, not me. You said
How do you know you can trust your senses, Sean?
you can't always. That's why you need to use discernment. This is going to be.
Right. How do you know when to use your discernment?
You should always use your discernment.
Yeah. I'm not asking you what you should do. I'm asking you, how do you know?
The answer is obvious. You have to get the mRNA vaccination. That's obvious biology.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. You're not a human being until you become part nanobot.
Told that nigga, you're not a human being until you become part nanobot. The nigga said, "How do I become part nanobot?" And nigga told him, "Bend over." Them white boys finna rat pack him and fuck him. I say, "Come on, finish this dinner, Chief. Goddamn, don't let him gang raping me." Sound like they finna fuck off me. That nigga looking like food. I see one white boy get up and take his shirt off and shit. I'm like, what's going on? They just circled him and sat down around him. I'm like, nah, Chief, don't let him go out like this, man. Say, bro, I swear you the whole ass nigga, Chief. I'll never fuck with you again, man. You let them nigga get it. They didn't all put him Indian style. Niggas got English voices coming out now. One of them called him a lad. He put it, one of them placed his palm on top of his hand and called him a lad. What say there, you lad? Call that nigga a lad. That nigga say, them contacts you got in your eyes or them your real eyes? I said, oh, hell no. Chief, man, fuck that dinner, man. Go on, get up. Yeah, one of the white boys said, are them contacts in your eyes or them your real eyes? I said, Chief, boy, you a whole ass nigga, bro. You know they about to get him. You a hoe cuz if you don't get up, bro.
Yeah. I mean, basically, Elon said we're already cyborgs. That's biology.
That's a primary source of biology. Must be true.
Sean, do you believe that we can manage a society without a belief system? You think we can survive on maths only?
I know it's certain that you can't survive without math.
That's not necessarily true. It's a tool.
You heard that stupid ass white boy say it ain't necessary. That's how you know they ain't built nothing. The boy told him you can't have a world without math. This nigga was talking about that's not necessarily true. Maybe in the cave, you ain't gotta do shit. You know what I'm saying? You nigga that you know that's coming from a nigga who ain't never did shit. No, he ain't had nothing to do with math. In his world, you don't need no motherfucking math or how to count or none of this type of shit, nigga. All right, son.
Yes, I agree.
Well, based woman in the chat, understanding what's going on, based. What's up, Ava?
Hi, y'all.
Where are you?
Who are you?
I am Royberg.
I am glad that Sean is out the room.
Had to happen. He was trolling. Who's Kudo3200 talker? Don't get kicked. One follower.
Hey, I had a question.
Kudo, you have 10 seconds.
Sean is back.
Yeah, this whole ass nigga said 10 seconds. I ain't really feel it.
That looks like a fake account. Yeah.
I have a question.
What's up, Big Chief?
All right. Y'all said that the early European immigration were white people. Do y'all have a source on that?
So you know, I think they're involved. They're upping their game.
Wait, is this some kind of circuit?
No. This is a real question.
Don't interrupt me, bro.
I mean, either you have the answer or you don't.
You can stop interrupting. Thank you.
Do we have a source?
I think there's a little click here, Royber, about
No, I don't know that guy.
Israelite shit.
I don't know that guy. I'm not an Israelite either.
But he just gave his answer to what
Hotep.
that question would be.
Hey guys,
Okay, well, I have a source. I have a source that proves.
Right? Because we was the original founding fathers.
Hey, white boy said they was the original founding fathers, nigga. So what do you got? You know what I'm saying?
What's your sources, Big, that you're
And they keep muting me too. So the pauses and shit, they mute my mic.
gonna bring up?
Okay, so Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin would be my source. He said the Spaniards, the Italians, French, Russian, and Swedes are generally what we call swarthy complexion, and Germans and also the Anglo-Saxons as well. So this is in Benjamin Franklin concerning the increase of mankind. You guys, any one of y'all can pull that source up. So right here, Benjamin Franklin said that the Spaniards, Italian, French, Russian, Swedes were swarthy complected. If y'all know what swarthy complected was, that would be black complexion. They would be dark complexion.
Big, his statements were mentioning the majority of the people in the country. Yes, the people agrees, and we all agree there are many different people here in the country, but who is the majority culture?
Okay, the majority culture is American Indian culture. Don't do that because Europeans have no culture in America. They have no culture in Europe, so we're not gonna do that.
In the founding fathers.
Yeah, did y'all hear him talking about a culture? Boy, stop it. Boy, slap yourself. A culture? Boy, nigga, a white woman ain't ever tell me he got no motherfucking culture. Boy, go sit your ass in the corner somewhere. A culture? Where your culture is?
Father's eyes building the country. It was not for the Indians, it was for which people that were here.
It was black. Are you aware that it was black founding fathers as well? Richard Allen was a founding father. Absalom Jones was a founding father. James Fortin was also a founding father. Anybody can pull this.
Thomas Jefferson might as well be black.
Bitch, I didn't ask you that. I'm not talking about Thomas Jefferson right now. They said the Spaniards were black, the Italians were black, the French were black, the Russians, the Swedes, according to my source that I just pulled up. So Benjamin Franklin stated that. So unless y'all have a source that proves otherwise, we're waiting.
No, I agree.
Oh, I agree. One of the white boys don't want to fight no more. One of them don't want to fight no more. Hey, let's get the likes up, family. Jump on that like button. Jump on the like button. What's going on here? Jump on the like button. Hey, one of them raised his hand and say, no more. Don't hit me no more. I'm out this shit. I agree. I'm with you. I'm with him. I'm with him, goddamn.
This is a black country, and these white folk.
Hey, I got a question for you, Cassius. Cause y'all heard him back there trying to make a joke. He talking about, yeah, Big Chief. You right. This is a black country, and these old white folks. You know what, bitch? Come here. I have a question for Cassius.
Hold on, Big. I want to say something. I think it'll reiterate your point. Have you ever seen provolone or Havarti compared to aged 8-year cheddar in an underground cave?
I don't eat. This whole ass nigga asked me, have I seen some cheese compared to some other cheese in a motherfucking cave or some shit? I told that bitch, I don't eat cheese. Cheese, brother.
Good point.
So, I have a question for any one of you guys who can help out. What year did you guys' family immigrate to America? I can't hear you. I'm sorry if you can you speak a little louder. Can you? Damn, I'm trying to get it on the mic, man. Hey, y'all, let me know if y'all can hear him.
Most of my ancestors come from Scotland, and they at the turn of the 19th century.
So you came in the 19th century. So you have absolutely. So why are you speaking about the founding fathers when you have no ties to the founding fathers? You come here in the 19th century, brother.
I'm sure. This is why. Because I want to protect what was and why so many people immigrated here. This is a nation that is built off of a set of certain values, protected by certain people. And what's been happening over time has been the total and utter destruction of these values. And what it's started with is the destruction of the history of this country and the rewriting of a lot, and the retconning of a lot. And we're seeing it right now when you say these things about Black people or Swedish or something. This is just totally.
That's a fact. I can state John Jacob was my ancestor. He came from Switzerland. He came to Switzerland. They founded a town in South Carolina. He fought in the American Revolution, and that's what made my family sons and daughters of the revolution through his pension. So, and he was allotted 300 acres from King George III. Yes, sir. And he was a black. He was. Yeah.
Is that 90+% of the population was Anglo-Saxon. Okay, they came from the British Isles. Okay, then we had other waves of European peoples. We had the Germans, the Spanish, the French, mostly Germans for up until the 1840s. And we saw Irish, French, and then way later we see the waves.
I'm about to slap this hoe, y'all. Y'all hear this hoe just talking? I'm finna 1-2 this hoe. Bam, bam. He gotta get him out of there. He ain't leaving out the first round. I'm finna get that bitch out of here.
But this is what you see pretty consistently over the immigration period of the United States history. Okay? And the reason why these value systems were able to stay pretty much the same, even though they did change due to this immigration, was because of the shared values amongst the Western civilization people. We weren't importing millions of people from foreign, civilizations, which is what we're doing now. We're literally importing millions of people from nations that are not Western, that do not support Western civilizations, and support something else. This is why. So your want, almost your incessant want to find a, how should I call it, a exception to the rule is dangerous, because the exception is not the truth.
Well, it sounds like you're trying to place yourself in history. You see, most white people can't. Are you familiar? Most.
So instead of saying that, let's choose. What did I say that was wrong?
Boy, I know you ain't just asked me what you say was wrong. Let me go back a little, right? Because I asked this motherfucker. I say, when did your family immigrate here? So he was trying to say, so they basically came through Ellis Island, right? We're gonna find that out later, bro. But they came through Ellis Island, right? So they came here in the 1900s. So I asked him, what the fuck do you have to do with the founding fathers? If you ain't get here until the 1900s, 20th century, what the fuck do you got to do with a founding father conversation, immigrant? And so he tell me he has to protect the history. I think they were like some Klansmen or some type of white supremacy group or some shit though to keep it gangster. Just listen to how they talking. They talking about protecting the values and holding on to the values of the country, and I listen to what they saying. And so, and I give you something. See, because while we were talking, I was making them bitches pull it, bitch. And so he said he has to protect it because history is being rewritten. So here they come with that old unions and the daughters of the Confederates and this, that's the situation between them. Ain't nobody telling our story though. You know what I'm saying? And so, see, all of that shit fake, all of it rewritten, and they trying to write it over our story. But see, they only be expecting us to know. And a lot of times they don't know. You know what I'm saying? But let's walk. Well, everything you said was wrong. You talking about the principles that this country was built on. You said that the founding fathers were white. Are you familiar with the kings from Europe that set up the 13 colonies were black? The Stuart kings were black kings. King Charles, we can look up King Charles, who Charles in South Carolina named after. His name nickname was the Black Boy King. And his mother, Henrietta, yes sir, you can look it up. His mother was Henrietta, look, that's very, Google it. The Black Boy King. Why should they call him the Black Boy King? Because he had dark skin. The last kings to rule Europe, they were taken off the throne. You say you from Ireland. You have Irish ancestry. Scotland, I'm sorry. You said you have Scotland ancestry. Well, if you have Scotland ancestry, then you're familiar with the wars against Oliver Cromwell, against the Protestants. Well, there was black, Scottish, and Irish who was removed out of there and sent to Jamaica, Barbados, Jamaica, and later Virginia, South Carolina. So you brought up that they came in the 1830s. Your history is all the way wrong. See, that's why, because you're trying to fit in yourself in the story. Most of the people that came from Scotland in that era came out of 61 through the Homestead Act and later through Ellis Island, which your family came through. See, that's why I said you're trying to place yourself in history, and when you asked what was wrong, I said everything, because your whole concept on American history is wrong.
Okay, well, to correct you, yes, it looks like his nickname was the Black Boy King. The reason why he got this nickname was because of the darkness of his eyes.
Did y'all hear this motherfucker? So he went and pulled it, right? He went and pulled the King Charles being the Black Boy King. So he come back and he say, okay, so they did call him the Black Boy King. That's what he's saying right now. They call him Black Boy King. But the reason they call him the Black Boy King is because of his dark eyes. He said, nigga had dark eyes, boy. Boy, you don't get out of here with the black ass eyes. You black-eyed ass boy. Kind of remind me of a nigga by the eyes. Man, I don't know this shit. This is why it's important for us to write our own history, bro.
Of his eyes. But the reason why he was, to correct you, yes, it looks like his nickname was the Black Boy King. The reason why he got this nickname was because of the darkness of his eyes. According by
Stop it. The darkness of his skin.
He was not black by any means. You know what's so funny is...
Prove it.
Prove it? Here's how. So, if we look at the family tree of the kings and queens of England, the monarchy, there is no African lineage in this line.
They're not African. They're from Europe.
Exactly.
Black people rule Europe. Yes, sir. What do you mean exactly?
They do. Black people.
See, if you really knew your history, you would know that connection between Charles I and Henrietta, which he married a Protestant, they were favoring Catholic at the time. That's when it started to, that's when it started to whiten up. Okay? See, you don't even know history.
So these black people have no
all black people not from Africa. Those people are from Europe.
Okay. So black people are indigenous to England.
Yes. See, we don't have to find out where we're from. Y'all need to, obviously, y'all the ones who don't know where y'all are from. Okay? The last kings to rule Europe, listen, Jamestown, Virginia.
Science and history disagree.
Science. Do you know who created science?
Was it black people?
No, it don't have to be a black people, but this form of Western science you're speaking of, 1660 through the it'll come to me. It was the royal, the oldest scientific, Western scientific. King Charles II signed their charter. It'll come to me though, but that's where this form of Western science come from. And it was black people involved in that organization. First off, a black man, King Charles II, gave them that charter.
So black people are indigenous to Europe, specifically.
Yes, they were there before white people. yeah, they were there before white people.
This is probably one of the stupidest people I've ever.
So prove it. You have yet to prove anything. I've been proving everything I've been saying. And you even validated my source.
I have a question. What about, I've heard this before, maybe Chief knows, maybe Kessler knows, I'm not sure. Isn't there a tribe of Judah that was in...
No, tribe of Judah is fake. We never worry about a tribe of Judah.
So the ones who were in Ethiopia? I'm just trying to keep...
Well, they wasn't in Ethiopia. Okay, if you want to know, the true Jews came from Europe, okay? So... Are you familiar with the Jews coming from Europe, being in Spain, and the history of the Jews in Portugal?
I know that once the ark settled on the Mount of Haran around Turkey, then there was the sons of Noah, and then they all split up.
No. Y'all hear white folks' concept on history? They really believe in their Bible history. This nigga said he know about the goddamn boat. Noah's Ark landed in Russia. And boy, bitch, you go to sleep too. We're talking about real history, okay? I'm talking about in the days of colonization, early colonization. We'll go 1492. Jews were expelled out of Europe in 1492. They also were, a lot of them found shelter in Portugal, where they were later taken in the slave trade. From there to Africa.
BC time.
Yeah, well, you don't know nobody from back then. Nigga came at me on some aboriginal shit, talking about the BC time. He going by BC time. You don't know no motherfucking body in BC times, nigga. Fuck you mean you going by BC time, nigga? Don't nobody in BC time know you, nigga. Nah, they ended the room, y'all, on everything. Bro. Blasted on them and the white boys ended the room. Yeah, that was some cold shit, bro. Them niggas real life ended the room. Them niggas shut the whole thing down. You see the big old red marker come down. This room has ended. This room had ended. That bitch back there pulling them sources. Is this nigga lying? Oh, shit. Let me get up out of here. Abort. Yeah, man, beat up some white boy. Boy, that feel good, too. You can feel your knuckle driving through the white boy. Yeah, you can see him split. You can see the blood come out when he split, but you can't let it get on it because it might got hepatitis or something. Yeah, or some other type of germs and shit in there. Yeah, that's how you knock a white boy out. You think, yeah, when last time you think knock your white boy out, nigga got something? Hold on. Let me drop the link down there. Yeah, nice all those sides them hoes. Here, give me 2 or 3 of them white boys. Y'all know I don't like it, fella. Don't shoot me no one-on-one. I don't want no one-on-one, nigga. I remember y'all remember that time I used to do pull-ups, coming in and say, how many niggas in here? And I say, damn, it ain't but two of y'all. I'm gonna come back when y'all got a little more homeboys in here, man. We ain't gonna fight today. I need like 3. I was looking for 3, 4 fades. Yeah. I'll beat shit out 2 of you niggas. I need me like 3, 4 niggas though. Link in the chat, man. Pull up. Yeah, white boy. Yeah, go on, get out of here. Go on, wrap it up. Other white boy that went out there and gave his life to the Lord and everything. That nigga that went and got on his knees and gave his life to the Lord, man. What's up with it? Shane, turn up one time.
I gotta say bravo. And they wasn't expecting that, because a lot of times what people do is they judge you off your accent alone. So they thought you was gonna be an easy one, just like how the other educated Negro came in there and he couldn't get it together. So they thought you were gonna be an easy target. But yeah, you showed them right. And you kept asking to pull up the sources. And of course, they didn't want to pull up no sources, but they just lectured the other guy about what are sources.
Right. That's the coldest one. See, it was like 4 of them. It was crazy because the other one stopped talking, but it was just one main one I wanted him. And he was, because he had all the jokes and he was really kind of doing that other nigga kind of bad. So I said, I want him. And that's the one come with this immigrant story. Notice he said the Irish came in the 1830s. And I'm like, yeah, the white Irish came in the 1830s, but thank you for proving the nigga point, because that's what the nigga been saying. See, all the niggas came, early immigration was niggas. It was them black Europeans, them early Germans, just like Benjamin Franklin told they couldn't get out of that one either. That was a wrap. They left that whole conversation alone. Hey, y'all hit the link and pull up.
But see, they contradicted themselves, because you use the Benjamin Franklin source, which actually debunks what they had previously just said. They were claiming to the other educated Negro, saying that you can't use journal entries, you can't use firsthand accounts as valid sources. You have to actually use some type of I guess an institutional backed source. But yet, when you brought up the Benjamin Franklin source, they shut up real quick. So that's how you know, if you know what you know and you know what you're talking about. It's really hard for them to challenge it. And they were just giving that other guy a runaround. And then once they ran him around, then they started questioning, do you have a belief system? I'm like, what?
Then you got the Lord in your life.
They just started breaking him down. Like, that was literally, listening to that, that was like a virtual butt breaking. Oh my God. If I've never seen one before, that was definitely an example of what it looks like to break down the Negro to the smallest pebble. And then you start questioning his existence on this planet. Wow.
Yeah, that nigga that submitted, that nigga gave it up, bro. they put the holy oil on that nigga. That nigga left with a Mother Mary piece of chain. That nigga had the Jesus on the cross chain on and everything. That was I couldn't believe it, bro. He came in tough too. He was like, so I see y'all want to start some shit. I said, oh, where my record button is? It's finna go down. White boy was in the old school pickup, an old school Chevy. Them niggas jumped off the back of that bitch. Them niggas had sticks and Letterman jackets on. I say, they finna whoop this nigga. He come out there, he was interracial dating and shit. I said, he's scared about to get on the nigga ass. And I said back, I ate, but I couldn't believe he started out tough and they just broke him down. They weren't even talking about nothing. So he really should
Right.
white folks rule, because they was like 90% of us was white. And they talking about the culture. Nigga tried to use that with me. They brought culture. We live in America. They brought their culture to America. Bitch, don't you ever See, that's the difference between us and the goddamn anybody else. See, with the Indian, they can't do that shit, bro. We at home, man. Them hoes gotta respect something. A Pan African, you know how that conversation would have went with a Pan African, it would have turned into a hate speech. Yeah, that's because y'all enslaved us, and you know what I'm saying. And yeah, he would have had a whole slave mentality about it. And that he a devil, yeah, because you a devil. The Bible say you gonna rule the earth. He just gave you 6,000 years to rule it. You would have got some of that shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, and this shit is crazy. Hey y'all, the link in the chat. Pull up. What's up, Key? What you got going on, Key? If you got time, pull up on Mike.
Yeah,
What's up?
that was a slaughter. The first guy. Yeah, I wish I would have witnessed that, but I definitely would have been secondhand embarrassed. And even when he left, they were still trying to talk junk. And in the whoever the girl was, she said, "I'm so happy he left." I'm like, damn, what the hell?
Oh, y'all can hear that. I thought it was too low. I'm like, damn, they don't even.
No, yeah, we heard that part, and they were still talking junk. But like I said, the part that really made me cringe was when they started questioning his existence and questioning how does he know he's even a valid, like basically a valid human being without a belief system. And it was just kind of like weird. Like it felt like he was slowly slipping into the sunken place. If I'm telling you, if this was in person, I can imagine what that man's face would have looked like and how he would have been acting.
They would.
Because if he's doing this over the phone, damn.
Nah, for real. They would have had their way with him. Birthday cake. They would have had their way with him. They fucked up, bro. They would have did rituals and all type of shit on that nigga ass. Man, but now like then the white boy asked him, he say, Sean, what do you think, Sean? He said, I think I need to do a little bit more. Yeah, okay. And he said, okay. I said, oh, bro, wake up, man. I said, you got to do something, bro. You better not just click out the room. Because I clicked out. I left, and then I came back. And I was like, nah, bro, you can't let no shit like this happen, bro. You would whoop them white boys for this whole ass shit.
But you know what? But because you stood so tall on the information, they could not challenge whether or not you was an Indian. And I feel like that would have probably came if you were kind of like the other guy. Then they kind of would have started toying around with you too. Well, now they're gonna start questioning whether you're Indian or not, and this, that, and the third. But see, he was so caught up in trying to prove you wrong while also proving you right because he was agreeing with everything you were saying while trying to low key disagree, that they didn't even have a chance to start discrediting your indigenous identity. So they just ended the damn room. They just said, "Fuck it, this ain't going nowhere. We got an educated nigga on the line. Let's just end this call real quick." So that was embarrassing on their part too. But like I said, to think about it, I'm just thinking about through history and how white people have always played this role, and I've seen it in real life. I've seen them talk to people and like they're so sure of what they're saying. Even in I had joined a Irish genealogy group. And I joined these groups. I think I told you already. I just do it to kind of go in there to see what they saying. Then I go fuck around and I go post my information about my Irish ancestry just to make them upset. And when I was talking about it, you could tell they were getting upset. And then they started trying to tell me who I was and saying, well, you shouldn't talk about the Irish becoming slaves or working, on the plantation because that's undermining the Black American experience. I said, what the hell? I said, what? I said, that don't undermine my experience. That just makes it more valid. That makes it more valid that first off, the Irish ain't never been by nothing since you got here. You had to earn a white status, and you still earning it today. But I had to pretty much tell the white lady, like, listen, lady, don't speak for me. But that's what they do. They try to speak for you, and then now you got yourself questioning whether you valid or not in your own damn struggle. Like, no, these people were poor. They made it with other poor people who was just trying to make it. And you're not going to sit here and play the white card that you are going to tell me about my own oppression or trying to make this as the center focal of a conversation just because I acknowledge that I have Irish ancestry. It's insane how they've been getting away with this for decades, but they haven't been checked until I guess maybe this generation, where with the new generation, to start checking them on this stuff.
Yeah, we about to become dangerous. Everybody get done the same way. We do everybody the same way, bro. We be beating the shit out of niggas. We always beating the shit out of somebody, bro. And it be like hard ass whoopings. Like, I remember I got that nigga, BTP niggas. I had went over there, and niggas say we gonna have to have you back on, man. Cause some of the stuff he said some of the stuff, I never heard of. I said, which parts you never heard of? He said, none of it. You know what? I need to go record that clip and put it on Twitter since that bitch be running around here wanting to play. Bitch, I got something for you, ho. I'm finna go get it out the horse's mouth. Bitch, you niggas can't fuck with me. I slap you niggas silly. You don't even know how to fight back. Vaughn, what up, though? Well, Vaughn, we'll turn up one time. What you got?
What's up, man? Hey, so I just want to say, drop some flames for this surgical work this brother be putting in. Slapping these niggas in the mouth and these white boys apparently. You feel me? And I don't know. Like I just thought that was interesting. You know, like how they thought they were standing on information, and then you kind of come out of left field. You know what I'm saying? Like in their mind, you come out of left field with the accent and everything like that, and then they try to teach you, and you end up teaching them because what I feel is they were looking up everything you were saying, and why they couldn't come back is because they actually looked up the information and it was verifiable. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not, and the crazy thing about it is like I knew you was gonna smack them up because they don't know what they were talking about, and it's like you got to really be, listening to your lectures. You know what I'm saying? That you drop almost every time about the Europeans. You know what I'm saying? To know that they don't really have information. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because I actually do the footwork on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like when somebody try to talk about this information, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll be like, no, that's not how it went. And I tell them exactly how it went. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's because listening to your lectures and stuff like that, I actually have information and also sources to back it up. You know what I'm saying? To where people go back and look at it or look it up right then and there. They like, oh, okay. And you shut them back up. You know what I'm saying? You shut them up and you actually teach them. You know what I'm saying? What actually happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you give us information to know what happened here in America as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's nothing someone can tell you about how the fucking shit the slave trade started, and you know what I'm saying, or where the escapade, you know what I'm saying, like them going out to discover America. You know what I'm saying? Like you actually have the information as to why that happened. It was a damn religious war going on back in Europe, or the European, countries, or Eurasia, which you want, whatever we'll call it. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's information that's been given out, but you have to be at BCU or listening to your lectures to find it out. So I mean, just want to big up you on that one, and also that May 21st. I don't want to change gears, but that May 21st powwow, I already put in my my information to my job, trying to get that off. So I'm really trying to come. It's gonna be a vibe, and I'm out.
In a real way, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Chief, quickly. So what I'm gathering, I'm noticing a pattern. So are these okay, the first whites technically, whoever these people were that came, are they using these Ellis Island whites to protect their history? Because it seems like it's the Ellis Island whites that are on the forefront, feeling like they have to protect the order, they have to protect the histories, and they're like the do boys, like the throwaways.
Shan,
Right.
you might be
Is that
on to
what I'm
something
looking
because
at?
that is what it sounds like. Shan, you might be on to something.
You got to
Yeah.
keep the play though. See, when the Ellis Island folks started coming, these migrations came. This is when you see this is the making of white supremacy. Before then, the white supremacy that we talking about, it didn't exist because you had niggas in the play too. You know what I mean? So that's why the first Ku Klux Klan had niggas in it. So when these Ellis Islands come, that's why we don't see our Black Wall Streets or Red Summers into this 19th century, the 20th century. What's happening? White immigration is happening. You feel me? So this is where you're getting this competition between them because you got this is where the competition that's coming between them and the white people. So just like now they out there created this American versus Africans beef, black folks banging against Africans. It's the same. It was the same way back then because they made them clash and compete. So we'll take East St. Louis riots for example. When they moved them up there, it was a war over the jobs, who gonna get the jobs and this and that. That's why the Ku Klux Klan, what they used to say? Oh, these niggers taking all the jobs and all this type of shit. That's where you get these conversations from. And so yeah, there was the Ellis Island people who had to come here and get a foot, and they were gonna be the that was even we go back to the homestead when those white people came, they had to fight in the wars, in the Civil War. They had to go out west and get killed by them Indians and go in them dangerous ass mines and all of that type of shit. So yeah, it was a cost, but this Ellis Island is when they flipped it and they came right in the time where they was creating this white supremacy, this white attitude, this you higher. That's why we don't see the Racial Integrity Act into 1924, Jim Crow laws into the 1920s and the migrations and shit until then, until they come. And so they have always that white against black shit, that was their era. And that lasted all the way up into, through the civil rights. So that part of history is brand new, late 1800s coming into that era
Right.
where we see that large migration with them. 1924 immigration act, all white immigration to the war hit.
Well, that's why I've always felt like, because remember, even when they started to pass the Racial Integrity Act and things like that, it's like prepping up for these white immigrants that's about to start coming in. And I've always said, this is just my statement, I always felt like the whole racism thing, especially in this country, it was definitely mind control. It was definitely pushed, and that's why they had to have things like Birth of a Nation, the political cartoons depicting the black people looking just very dire and uneducated, even the pickaninny, like everything was about displaying a image of the darker skinned people to these newly arrived white people to
Hey, what about
see
that?
the division.
My bad, I mean to cut you, but you know what'd be good on that about that World Fair in
Right.
remember that's the same timeline.
Right. So that would be what, making of a white identity of America.
Hey, didn't they have Piccadilly Indians?
A pickaninny is Indian. Yes.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like they don't hide this shit. That's what I was trying to say. Like they don't. This shit is not like they don't hide it very well as to who we are.
It's just media propaganda. So they were using it's the same thing they do now. How they show the nightly news is always like negative projections of black people committing crimes, and they were doing that back then, but through like cartoon images, and even in some of the early uh what was that, the Disney, not Disney, the Looney Tune cartoons and some of that stuff, you'll see a little bit of that racial undertones in there. And Birth of a Nation, like, yeah, all that, you're going to see them start pushing propaganda to these newly arrived white people about who these dark skinned indigenous people are here in this country.
That was the same time they was doing that to the westerns, right? That was depicting the cowboys as just like in Chief's video. They
Right,
depict
right.
the
Yeah, that was that era. That's the Hollywood. All of this shit came around the same time. Hollywood, all of that, the World Fairs, where they, was putting on these the Filipinos, and all that shit there. Even the little African kid, the little black boy saying you was talking about, all of that shit. The
Yeah.
era they was showing them to these white folks, these editors, all them motherfuckers that was coming. But what's up with
Hey, it's crazy because in San Francisco they have a world fair building that sits right by the Golden Gate Bridge, and I just think that's interesting. They used to have world fairs in San Francisco as well. So yeah,
San Francisco ancient? What's up with it, Kiki? What you got for us?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I was just gonna agree with Shan when she said that, she thinks that they're coming over here to protect a history that's not theirs, and they're kind of like little soldiers coming over here. I
Right.
don't think they actually have any type of actual knowledge about anything. I think all their talking points, excuse me, have been just like regurgitated information that they hear from other people, or maybe these like white supremacist rooms, whatever type of spaces that they enter. Because whenever you give them articles or facts or sources, like they'll look them up, but then they'll like twist the information to fit the narrative that they were taught. Like the black eye thing, like why would somebody be called a whole black boy because he had dark eyes? Like that don't even make sense. So he was just constantly trying to just try to make you look like you were dumb. And you can hear it in his voice. He sounded very pompous and condescending from the beginning. When he was telling the other black scholar about himself. And it's very unfortunate that the other boys didn't have enough information. Um, but yeah, and then I also wanted to say like Disney, like Walt Disney, like when he was doing the propaganda, it was bad because I remember when I used to teach kids, they wanted to watch cartoons. So me, I'm like, all right, let me put on some let me put on some cartoons for them.
Oh no.
And girl, it was like the big lips, the big booty, the big pink, purple, like red lips. I think they even had the word nigger in there. It was a mess. And they were like, what is this? And I had a school full of little black kids. I was like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't teach because, it's very political in the school. So I couldn't really say much about it. But yeah, I'm glad they, in a way, took away those undertones. But yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh, it
they
didn't.
had the word nigger and mammy, like
Oh yeah, man.
MAMMY in there,
Yeah,
and you
yep,
look
all
that
that
up.
Aunt Jemima stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
now they still have undertones in the cartoons. It's just more the LGBT. That was they always
There you go.
something.
There you go. They just changed.
Yeah, that I'm sorry. I hate to be that person, but not my kids. I mean, I don't have any yet, but we won't be watching those cartoons. Even I had a child, and her mom didn't let her watch SpongeBob, and then I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, they do have a lot of like
Oh yeah,
undertones with
a lot of sexual
things. Yes.
innuendos in there.
hmm
Yeah,
What's
you have to be careful.
All right, all right. What's up with it, Big Shaq? I said you was up here. Then we go to the whole indigenous Nick.
Yeah, man, the
Hey,
white
you
folks
was
be
working,
pissing
man.
me.
You say you weren't gonna be able to jump up. You was working, but
I was
you.
working on some music, man.
Oh,
But I was like, I can't fuck with them people. See, this is my problem, bro. Through music, I was able to travel. And when you travel, you meet different people. When you see, just like probably when you went to Dubai, when you tell them stories, like y'all gotta understand. See, when you in England, right? If you go to London and you ask somebody in London what color the pharaohs were, they're gonna say white. If you ask them who built them castles in West Africa, they'll tell you white people built that shit. The indoctrination is real. So I spent time studying all that shit to be able to debunk all that shit. And you got to be able to put just like you were saying, a line on it. And it's actually the 1800s. See, what you see, just like you said, with Oliver Cromwell and King James, it was a huge influx of swarthy people out of Ireland and Scotland. That's why the second largest, St. Patrick's Day in the world is in the islands. It's on the island of Montserrat. Go on and look up the island, and that's why
Yep.
it's no accent on the planet that sound like that Jamaican patois outside of Ireland. That's why that shit sound like that. That's like Irish slang. That's why that shit sound like that. That's why them people over there sound like that. And so you looking at two different influxes of immigrants. If you talking before 1800, you talking something different. When you get to 1800, 1850, that's when you start getting them orphan trains. Look that shit up. Or when you start getting them Coney Island babies in the early 1900s, you get a totally different influx, and that's also why you get them Protestant Irish, which was a dark skin. When you get the Puritans, and you get all them people who was dark and light skinned before 1800. After 1800, when you get them Catholic Irish, that's when you're talking about the white Irish. It's a clear line in history when that shit happened. And you got to know who you're dealing with. And it's easy work. I ain't no more. I don't, not to cast dispersion on them. This ain't their day to catch a fade. But if you go to that book, what is it? Ancient and Modern Britons, they talk about that. And I got a pick bloodline. I got my birth name, my last name. I didn't trace that. That's what I showed you the other day. And it ain't, it's, I'll share a part of it. What is it? My 7th or 8th grade grandfather, the ODs, D Castle in Ireland. That's a Pictish last name, the O'Days. Mine ain't O'Day, but it's a derivative of it. And the one that came over here, he came over here as a what they call them people? Fucking indenture servant. He served out his indenture, and then he lived his life. And he was not a white man. He was a dark-skinned Irish person. They talk about the Picts and they talk about the Celts. And all of that history is there. They talk about it, and it actually lines up with 1492 and the Portuguese and the Spanish, because what they say is when they kicked them dark-skinned people out of Spain, they were trying to figure out a way how to do that to the people in Ireland and Scotland. Before Cromwell and them did what they did, they wanted them black people out of Ireland and Scotland, but they didn't have a clear reason to do it. They were able to do it to them Sephardic Jews and Moors on the Iberian Peninsula because they were not Christian. But the ones that were in Ireland and Scotland were Christian, but they still didn't want them there. It's a lot of history there between 1600 and 1800. So anything after 1800, you talking about that influx that happened after them wars up that way. It's a lot of history. You got Black Moravians, Black Bohemians. You know what I mean? You got Black Germans and Black English. You can't discount the Bojangles lady out of the island of Britain. You know what I mean? It's so much history, but they don't learn it. And when they do see it, they call that shit revisionist. They basically made it through their political and military means, like, like what we believe is the truth. What we believe is the truth. Anything that's not what we believe is revisionist. It's apocryphal. You know what I'm saying? So I have no tolerance for that shit. Blessings to you to be able to sit in that room, because I'd have fucking left. I can't deal with them people.
Appreciate that. Turn that one time, indigenous. What you got for us?
Hey, that's what you call a classic white boy build right there. The strategies they use, but you made them send out the group text talking about abort mission, though. I mean, the whole time, like, these dudes, it's the same arguments. Once you start bringing up when your family got here, and they start talking about the early 1900s, but you're talking about something that was a whole century before your people got here. Like, what do you have to do with the conversation now? You just excluded yourself from that whole entire conversation. And once you really, when you start bringing up the immigrations and what was going on during the immigrations, their whole argument broke down. They had to close that room because it was about to expose everything. And then it was going to get to the real details of everything once that happened. So So they didn't have no more argument. And Buddy, I mean, if he knew a little bit more, he could have stood on his toes, but it was just like he just let them fold him so easy. The man went from, oh, this is a primary source to like, I don't even know what a primary source is anymore. Like, dude, like if you know what a primary source is, you know what a primary source is. Don't let these dudes talk you out of it. It was crazy. That was
Yeah,
crazy, man. But
yeah, it's
that was
crazy
definitely a
because
good build.
yeah, it definitely it's crazy because they didn't even know. I really felt like they thought Chief was right-handed, but Chief really hit him with the left hand. That's what I think would happen there because they didn't know where the conversation was going to go. They was like, you know what? Let's abandon ship before this even get out of hand.
You know what was a good point too, Chief, is that you admitted you have European ancestry. So even in that conversation, you prove that you have more ties to the founding history of this country than these new immigrants coming through Ellis Island. And I think even when I heard you bring up and you was breaking it down about the Black European that's in your family, and they try to hurry up and scurry past that part because at least you admit it. Because they also bank on is that we're not going to admit that we have some type of European ancestry. No, we do admit it. The only thing that we challenge for some of us is that these were not white people, and I can definitely prove that I got some Black Europeans in my family, both sides of my family, whether they came through the Caribbean or whether they came through the New England or Virginia area. A lot of them, they were melanated people. So I think that also took him off guard because he was like, wait a minute, is a Black person admitting they got a European ancestor and he know the name and he know when the time period he came? Yeah, you pretty much shook him up with that one too.
Put the nail on
Yeah,
the casket.
I also peep how as soon as he heard Chief accent, he instantly went to the British Isles conversation. They always do that.
see, my whole game
Yeah.
with that is my bad. Somebody was about to say something.
No, I was agreeing. I just said, yep.
Yeah, so like the whole game on that, whenever niggas think of a Black European, they gonna think of me, right? Because that shit there really took it to a whole nother level, but it tells the story. You know what I mean? I was the example, man. I was the scapegoat for this shit. When the nigga first came, it was either you were African or Aboriginal, and that shit was all fucked up. And I say niggas ain't doing their genealogy. You can't be talking that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because your genealogy take you everywhere, bro. And so it tells the story. So I took a fade. I told them nigga I got an African grandma. Really them paying African was over here every day. And they was fighting against the Mabos. And so I said, I got an African grandma. Yeah, y'all remember I just came out of nowhere with this shit. Trying to get a fade with them niggas. But what I introduced from that attention was the Black Europeans. And I brought the Black Europeans in the story because I had found Black Europeans in my line. Now, what I call them is my colonizer side. You feel me? And so, yeah, that's my colonizer side. But just identifying with the story and what happened. You know what I mean? But yeah, that take them all the way off the board right there. You know, the motherfucker got shields and everything. I got some them early Black Germans. They got coats of arms and all type of shit. All on their genealogy, nigga flagging on that hoe. I said, okay, I see you, ho. But we point them things out. That's the importance of genealogy. But yeah, that shit took them right off the board. What is you doing speaking on some motherfucking founding fathers, nigga, when you an immigrant?
There
Yeah,
you
you just
go.
got here.
Fuck talking, nigga, go sit down. Bitch, this our country. You know
You
what
know,
I'm saying?
and that's how you humble them. That's how I be humbling even some of them natives. I just asked them, when did you meet the colonizer? Because you're talking on some 1492. And I actually had that Lakota dude from Clubhouse gonna tell me, they met the colonizer in 1492. I said, let's stop playing games. Let's stop playing games. You in the room right now with some foreigners, so you think you can just say a bunch of things, but you're talking to me now. Go on, tell me the truth. And he really did not know what year the Lakota people actually met the so-called British. He couldn't pinpoint it down, so he tried to argue the semantics of it. So, but that's how you get them. Just ask them where do you fit in the timeline. That's it. Where you fit, because a lot of times they don't know where they fit. They just regurgitating something, and whatever they're regurgitating is just it's trying to write you out of the story. That's all it matters.
When did the Lakota people meet the British? Was it around the 1800s? Because like they didn't get into the middle of the country until like like the Western expansionary period. Like it was in the late 1800s or
Yeah.
something like that.
So I think he eventually looked it up, and he was like, "Yeah, we met the European in the 1800s and da 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 da." I said, "Well, damn, you about like 200 years behind timeline. we don't ready to started
Catch up, young
cities.
buck.
We don't built universities. You behind the timeline at this point."
I mean, if I learned anything from y'all from that first room I met you guys a couple months ago, is see where you fit in the story. And a lot of these people cannot even let you. They don't even know where they fit in the story at all. Even with their genealogy, they don't know. I mean, they're not actually doing it, but and that's a given. I mean, that's obvious that they're not doing their genealogy because they don't even know where their grandmas are from. So, yeah.
But that's the game right there. Once you do your genealogy, that's where that's where you fit in the story. That's where you see yourself in the story. So, like for example, when we talking about the Cherokees and the Overhills, you see yourself in the Overhills because that's your people now. That's me in the story. You know what I'm saying? And so it becomes personal and not just history, not just names niggas reading out. And see, that's why they just talking. That's why that nigga was just sitting there talking. You know what I'm saying, nigga? I'm not trying to hear that shit, nigga. When you got him on that boat, nigga? Yeah. What boat?
Right. He said, "What is you? Where's your family come from?" And then that's when it changed. He was like, "Oh well,
I can't believe he
that's how
closed
you
the room
know they
like
don't know
that.
where to go." Well,
They always do that on Twitter. Every time people get like caught up, they just like quickly shut it down. But then we just have a similar moment, Big Chief, on Twitter Spaces. We asked the same white boy, another white boy, the same question. When did you get here? And they always have the same answer. Around the late 1800s, 1900s. So that's what I was telling people. Like most of the white people you're gonna talk to nowadays, they're gonna be on like 3 generations into this country. But you can't tell the way how they fly that American flag. You can't tell.
They be getting it tattooed on their front porch. That's crazy.
That's the most
Hey, what's
shameful
up?
part.
Oh
You
my
got
bad.
these white people. They either don't know who they are either, or they just running with the lie because it make them feel good. That's shameful.
Knowing they come from peasants in their other country. Stop
so
it.
so basically, what happens is that story, the whole story of the the colonizationary period, it fits a narrative to be over a certain group of people, right? So when we think about the caste system, you would think about the whole eugenics movement and the way that fits into the story, right? That's when Chief broke it down. It puts white on top and blacks on bottom, right? So this is when a person hears your voice, they associate you with being black, right? Because you got seasoning in your voice, right? They'll know just by when you open your mouth what you are. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not any so-called black. They would know that you are a black American. You know what I'm saying? By the way you talk and your vernacular and even how you walk. You know what I'm saying? Like we are a different type of people. So when they think about that, they get the whole they get that whole story, in their mind, and it's designed like this to have that whole story in your mind because it literally takes you off of the land and try to take you to a foreign place that you've never been to. You know what I'm saying? Like Africa, I've never felt an emotional tie to Africa. Even when people try to talk about it and try to teach me it, you know what I'm saying? Like I always felt like I don't have to be taught some shit that I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have to be taught how to be American Indian. We always been American Indian. We've never like even when a continental, which I don't have no problem with them. Even when a continental African come over here, it's you could tell it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? It's not because we've been here for so long. We've been in America for so long. We just never been that. We never shut it up. We never conformed. We never we're submissive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in us today. That's why you get people, the gang culture and stuff like that. You can't, I mean, like, even though we want that shit to stop, you can't stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to conform. They're not going to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we not having it. We're not going, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with that story, you know what I'm saying? Like when the real people snap out of that whole African story and back to African movement and all that shit like that, we're not having it. Like you're not going to tell me where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I see this like, in different groups and, different chats and stuff like that. You're not gonna tell a person that they from Africa if they're not from Africa, bro. Like it's not happening.
Yeah, but you know what? That's why you stand once again 10 toes down in your genealogy. And that way, no one can tell you who you are. And you're at peace with who you are as well. Because a lot of people are not at peace with being indigenous to this side of the world because they've been told for so long they come from somewhere else. So it's going to take people becoming at peace with this information. And this is how we're going to be able to combat everybody in the Western Hemisphere. Because this is a good point that you made, Top Cats, how they're using the African immigrants to battle the Black Americans. And then in the early 1900s, they were using the white immigrants to battle the Black American. And then we know 1600s they were just trying to do business, but then they ended up battling us too for their place on this land. They wanted their little colonies and stuff. So it seems like it's always the fight is always going to be with the Black so-called American. Um, it's not with the Native American. If you're noticing the pattern, it's always going to be with the melanated people of this landmass because we are the true inhabitants and we are the only people who carry the blood of this particular landmass. And some of these people who may have mixed in with us that have the blood too, a lot of them don't resonate with it though. So because they don't resonate with it, they're also being used as foot soldiers to further take us off of the land here, whether it's in North America or whether it's down in the Caribbean, Central, South America. They're using kind of like what we was talking about with the mulattoes, the mixed breeds. They use those as the buffer class to continue to push us out. And that way, once the lines and the bloodlines get lighter, they start to tell history. And then they start to say that more on my other side of the family that's darker, they lying about who they are. This is really what it is. So, it's a pattern here in this country for the last 400 or 500 years. The battle will always be with the darker skinned people here.
The crazy thing about it is like, it's funny, like y'all say genealogy. It's like I started my genealogy journey back in, what is that? It was the same year They took away Nipsey. What was that, like 20? What was that, 2017? When was that, 2017, 2018? But anyways, like I know it was that same year because like it was shit going on during that time. I had like started my journey as to who am I. You know what I'm saying? Like I started that who am I journey. You know what I'm saying? Because the Black Panther was out, and you know what I'm saying. I was like, you know what? If they said I'm so called African, let me try to find this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried to find it like y'all don't understand. Like it was an emotional thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, let me find this shit. If they say that we're from a certain place, I want to know who, where, how. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I did my genealogy, not expecting me to find, American Indian and stuff like that. And it's crazy because like I started finding that shit, and I was finding that more than any so-called African shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and after I did my genealogy, or not after, but because it took years and years and years, and I still do it today, right? But I found Dane Calloway's video. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, what is this dude's? What's this dude talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, so he starts talking about, you know, we being indigenous to this land, and I'm like, what the? I'm like, what's going on with this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I kept watching videos. I kept watching them, kept watching them, kept watching them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, I started finding other people. And then that's when I found that damn Chief Holiday channel or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then eventually, they have like this whole big old thing to where they had a lot of people in the group, and then that's when I heard Chief. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell this story, like, I don't go all the way back like that, but I tell this story. I told this story probably like 3 times already, but yeah, like I found Chief or whatever, and then I started following his channel. This is before he even dropped anything about, what I'm saying, like, about anything. You know what I'm saying? Like he had, I think it's still a boxing channel at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I was following his channel, and then he started dropping like, uh different builds or whatever. And then I started listening to him. And then eventually he dropped that cowboy series. And that's when I saw myself in the story, because I know I'm in that story because of the Creek, the Creek Nation that my grandfather was removed off of, my 7-time great grandfather was removed off of in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? It's sent to Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually paperwork, paper trails on that shit, and also on that land that he was on. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely hit home or whatever. And I forgot why I was saying this, but I mean, I know it correlates to what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy. It's The whole thing is crazy how they try to, basically pin these immigrants, on us or whatever. And it's like it's always us against other people. And then now they integrated it to where, it's us against the Africans, like y'all was saying or whatever. And it's like we shouldn't even be going against these people because of us knowing who we are. You know what I'm saying? It's the resistance. We resist that shit because we are not Africans. Like, we nothing about us is African. Not the way we talk, not the way we, what I'm saying, we eat, not the way we, like, nothing. But I yield the mic.
I have a question for whoever can answer it. So, like, it's very clear that they brought these white European people, immigrants over here, to undermine us and fight with us and do the dirty work. And I guess they noticed, okay, that's not really doing what we needed to do. So let's infiltrate with Africans and other immigrants. Do you think that, like, back in the day they pre-planned this mass influx of Africans, or did they just pivot due to how they saw our reaction?
Yeah, but so this is what I think, especially growing up in heavily immigrated areas in the north. Um, I believe they test ran it with the Caribbeans first and the Hispanics. And I think they wanted to see how we got along. Because at this time period, it wasn't a lot of Africans coming in. You probably had a few scattered, but it wasn't a lot. So it's mainly the Caribbean, Hispanics, and stuff like that flooding into inner cities. For the most part, we got along. For the most part, um, I would say because we got too much along, I think that's why the African thing started to come out. I think they were trying to find a way to separate these groups because it's always about divide and conquer, and I don't know if they felt like the on a mass level, Caribbeans and Hispanics were just going to start killing us off or like whatever the case was going to be. But on a mass level, it was no, like we pretty much co-inhabited together. um Even down, we talk about like the music and stuff like that, the culture here in America. A lot of the immigrants had to blend into our culture, because they didn't want to stand out. So it really didn't work with the people that they brought from the Western Hemisphere, the southern part of it. But I think you start really seeing things get out of line when Africans arrive on a larger number. This is where I think things really started to get little weird, because for the most part, one of the only things, like, if we're not going to agree on a lot of things as Caribbeans, Hispanics, and Black Americans, one thing we do agree on is that we were affected by slavery or transatlantic slave trade or colonization at some point. We all kind of went through that history on the Western Hemisphere. The other people who don't really understand that story are the Africans. They have no idea about anything. So even when they're around Caribbeans or Hispanics, they also are very like tone deaf. And I think that's where you start seeing a lot of this friction start happening. And it's like a divide and conquer tactic. And it just kind of forced everybody to kind of go their own way. So where immigrants used to try to be like us, like they still do, but back then it was like they used to try to hide their accents. They weren't really waving flags. Like it wasn't like that early on. But I think once you really start to see the divide and conquer happening, then everyone just kind of really split with their own ways. And I think the Black American is like kind of left the only one in the middle saying, "Hey, what happened? What's going on? I'm still at the party. Everybody left the party though." So I definitely think it was definitely plans. I believe Pan Africans are definitely behind this. Um, I believe they wanted to cause that divide because I don't see how it united us at all. It kind of made our communities separate even more. So now the Jamaicans are with the Jamaicans, the others are with the others, like the Trinidadians, they with themselves. The Africans are with themselves, and the Black Americans were with ourselves, and that's not how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely divided us. So I would say, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I seen a post the other day, a viral post about who's really so-called quote unquote black. They put Rihanna's not black. They put Bruno Mars is not black or whatever, like whatever black means, right? But they put these people as not being so-called quote unquote black, right? But I really do think Pan Africanists are really creating this divide. So it just piggybacking off of what Shan was saying. Yes, there's these different tactics, and they change year to year to adapt to whatever social thing we're doing that year. So Yes, they
I'll say
definitely
this
try to
too.
divide it.
I'll say this too for like those, like I said, those early immigrants that came in the 60s and 70s. I'm telling y'all, they were not the ones that y'all see now. See, these are the children y'all are meeting and talking to. So some of y'all are like 30, 40 years old arguing with like 15, 20-year-olds, right? But for instance, like the immigrants that came when my father and them came, I'm telling you, they did not wave any flags. First off, half of them were scared they'll be deported if they did. It's a different style of immigrant that's here now. It's like those immigrants that came, they wanted to blend in as much as they can, even though they still secretly would try to be around like-minded people because they're coming from similar cultures, but they literally would try to blend in. So even like now, if you look at my grandmother or even my husband, his family, they don't wear their flag. And they've always taught, even my grandma told me, and even my husband's family told him, don't wear your flag, don't do that. They've always wanted to assimilate into American life. Even now, like my in-laws, they move more rural because they want to be around more of what it looks like to be an American. And what it looks like to be American, it is that wild, that these are the things they've seen in their country, like that wild west, suburban, have your guns, have your big truck, like this is what they want. At least the ones who want to assimilate into American lifestyle, this is what they're looking for. But I don't know. I think somewhere in the 90s, I'm telling you, when this whole Pan-African thing started, when it was like really heavy, late 80s, 90s, you start seeing flags popping up everywhere. I'm proud to be from my country. Like it just changed. And then that literally also caused divide too. Because it was not like that. So older immigrants, you're not going to see them riding around or walking around wearing a flag on them. They're not going to do that because half the time they don't even want the attention drawn to them. But the children who didn't get a chance to grow up in these foreign environments that they're coming from, they're the ones that's kind of loud and proud and don't really hardly know anything really about their culture. So, that's another part of the divide and conquer.
Yeah,
It
I
was probably the
remember.
Rainbow Coalition that started this whole, waving the flag, everybody wave their flag type of thing.
Yeah, I remember the mid 90s. I remember like in the early 90s when I was growing up, you had people of different ethnicities, I guess, in the community, but there was no divide. We was just niggas in the hood. Like even my Puerto Rican homies, it wasn't no Mexicans, it was Puerto Ricans. And I just thought that was my light-skinned homie with straight hair. That was Raven. He was Blackstone too. You know what I'm talking about? Like bro, it was no difference. And even like I remember being in the Black Student Union in college, and then before I went from the Black Student Union to the African American Union, I mean African American Network, and then all of a sudden you had the Caribbean American Union, and then like everything started to split up. So like by the late 90s, everybody had their own organization and wasn't nobody dealing with each other. And it was the kids, like the first ones that came over, and they told us like when you look at West Africa in the early 90s, even if you want to talk about, let's keep it a buck, Ethiopia, Somalia, you talking about poor countries. I remember this lady came over and she wanted us to go to the United Nations with them because the World Bank, I don't know if y'all know the politics, like if you in the music, because I got a lot of love for a lot of people. I like Fela Kuti and his son Femi Kuti. And Fela Kuti got that song ITT, International Teeth Teeth. If you know about the ITT, what they do is, see, you have them people, they have their own resources, they own things that grow on their own land. But what the World Bank did is they get the same play you see the Chinese doing now. I'm telling you, it's the same exact play. In the late 80s, early 90s, the World Bank gave them countries loans they couldn't pay back. And when they gave them loans they couldn't pay back, like imagine you got a credit card and they give you $100,000 knowing you make $15,000 a year. Imagine that on a country scale. And not only that, the part that they told me that I never forget is like they couldn't pay the World Bank back in things that they wanted them to pay back. They basically made them countries grow bananas and cotton and crap like that, which actually ruined their soil. This was in particular, Nigeria, Togo, Benin, those countries like that. And they made them pay them back in agricultural product that they wanted versus what their country naturally produced. So you talking about in the early 90s, these is poor countries, but then by the late 90s, their kids coming over and their kids getting a little money, and they telling their kids not to associate with us. Let's call it what it is. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's when you really got to say the line was. I can't put no white face on that. Didn't no white face tell, Mr. Arnong or Mr., whatever his last name was, to tell his daughter not to mess with us? You know what I mean? That's them that did that with their people.
Yeah, it's very interesting, like how you see, like in this, especially this 19th century, how things just change. In the 19th century, I would definitely say it was the birth of the immigrant population in this country, the immigrant identity in this country. And the first half of the century, you get the white immigrant identity being formed. The second half of the 19th century, you'll get the Black, Hispanic, and other, sprinkle some Asians in there every now and then. They're getting their shot at getting their identity in this country. So, like, I guess from what it looks like for me, I guess they feel like they had to get a good foothold in this country once they was able to get most of the states underneath this federal operation, this government. I think, this is when they felt like, to expand what they were trying to do, they wanted to basically populate areas out. And I believe that it was not only to outpopulate us, but it was also to outpopulate even the original white and Black Europeans that came here. I think they want to drown that part of history out. They want to drown out the Indian too. So this is why now we're coming into the 20th century. We're looking at them trying to rewrite history again. They're trying to take out certain parts of history. They don't want to talk about the real truth of how this country was established anymore, because they feel like it hurts people's feelings now. So you can kind of look at the creation of the United States of America and see how they like you said, like key acts, they kind of been gearing up for this moment. And now that they have a pretty good understanding on how to operate and control this system, all while bringing new people in and out the country, they're at a good point, I think, in their minds, that where they can start retelling the story again now. And they could tell it their way. They, maybe back in the day, they felt obligated to tell a little bit of truth because there was certain generations still alive to co-sign or to debunk or debate certain stories that were being taught in schools. So they would be challenged to teach the founding father history. They would be challenged to teach the in-depths of slavery and things like that. But now, 20th century, I mean, you're starting to see history start in the 1900s. If they go 1800s, they're probably going to stop at 1776. And then they're going to try to just briefly go past the 1800s, because you're probably going to have to hit slavery, and they don't want to teach that no more. So, as the years go on, we're just seeing the history lessons are just up in the timeline. So who knows, 100 years from now, they're probably only going to be teaching history from the 2000s. It just depends on who's writing the story and who's going to tell it if we're not preserving the stories.
Right. And I think that's why we this generation and what we're doing is so important, because um what's happening. They watching it all the way. That's why I say when you go through your genealogy, you'll notice that your second or your third great grandparent died in the 70s. You feel me? Died in the early 80s. Just go back and look at when your ancestors was dying. They was dying in the 50s and the 60s, the 70s and shit. And so that civil rights era came, that was a rebirth. All right, it was like a reset. And from then, when we got it in history, our history is coming up in school, we started around the American Revolution, Civil War, slavery. You got all that shit there, but the main majority focus was in my era was on Black history. You know what I'm saying? Which again, you get so which was it was kind of based in the 20th century. So uh, with the civil rights movement. My era was kind of tied around the civil rights movement. That's what they was like instilling in us. We needed rights because the nigga was we wasn't shit, and the nigga was, somebody got saved. Was this white boy go fuck us up? I better respect him, But so it's important. We so important because us passing it down, our babies, they gonna be that generation. See, Big Six said the other night, he say we ain't gonna be the generation to do it because most of the people now don't know who they are. So once we instill this shit and
Damn, that's deep.
yeah, we really the ones who planting the seeds right now. That's what we doing. So we might don't see the shit. You feel me? But and my auntie told me that in the videos. She said, you don't see it in your generation, then your daughter get to see it. But we planting it. Like she right now, she learning Kasadi language, Muskogee language. She writing it. I know that shit they're fake, but she wanted to do it. She asked, can she do it? How her brain think right now, she just taking in everything. So she learning that shit fast. She can break it down. She know how to say the food she eating. Yeah, she going through that shit. But and even genealogy, she got a genealogy tree. You feel me? So that's gonna be the era. Those generations. That's our babies. That's what's gonna be the ones who gonna really see this and feel this. But if we don't put it in this, what I want us to understand is when what happened in 2020, they killed a lot of the elders. All right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, bars.
I was gonna say, like that's, what was her the girl? I don't want to say her name because we're on a public platform, but from the Shinnecock Nation, she said a lot of their elders
Right,
were
right, right,
gone.
right. Wipe them out. Wipe them out. That's what's going on right now. It's like this shit deeper than rap. And so now that's why you got the critical race theory and all of that shit there. And if you get money from the state, then you need to run that curriculum and what y'all teaching by us first. Bars. Cause we finna lock this bitch down. We taking it to a whole nother generation now. And yeah, it's a nigga went to jail down there in Florida or something behind that shit and they're teaching that shit. But you got the 1619 project, all this type of shit here. They trying to wash their hands. Why? Because they just got away with it. They just done it. They stole all the land in the 80s. They ain't get them niggas reparations for it. Came out with HR 40 in 89, 88, 89, and started. Now it's about a nigga getting off a slave boat, owes some money. It's about land through the whole 80s, and then at the end they come with this, and then they wait 40 years later. Why? Because them people that was talking about they land, they need reparations for the land, was 60, 70, 80 years old. They gone.
Yeah, I was going. I remember hearing that they purposely been pushing this reparations thing down further and further, so that they did the same thing with slavery though. In the 40 acres and a mule, they kept pushing it further and further, until those people are dead, so they don't have nothing to pay back. And they doing the same thing, like you said, with the land grab. They push it further and further until those people are dead and they can't speak out no more.
And we just witnessed that 2020 came, took a lot of our elders. And so a lot of those stories, a lot of those, that connection, back to the land. All of that's gone, and now we got this mass. And what they say, shit, we are immigrants. America is a country built on immigrants. We black. Man, with that being said, we're gonna get some last words. We'll start with you, Vaughn. What you got for us?
Man, just keep doing that genealogy and do your due diligence. Pass it down to your to your younger seeds and stuff like that. Continue to ask the elders that you do have around information as to who their parents were. If not, who their grandmothers were and what they taught them and stuff like that. Just listen to the customs. Try to basically save those customs and stuff like that. And if it's a good thing, like save them and pass them down. You know what I'm saying? And just live life and stay focused on the goal at the end of the day. And that's to let these people know who we are. You know what I'm saying? And we're still here and we're not going anywhere. And I yield the mic.
Appreciate you. Big Seg, what you got for us?
I'm gonna say this. If you out there and you listening, baby, them greens you made was good as hell last night. I'm looking forward to that catfish tonight.
Turn up one time. What you got for us, Kiki?
I just want to say, keep doing your genealogy, keep tracing your people. Don't get discouraged because it can get emotional and it can get a little confusing. And don't let, these outside people discourage you by saying, you trying to be everything but black. We all look in the mirror every morning. So don't let that discourage you. You are who you are and stand 10 toes on that always.
Appreciate you. Take us out, Shan.
Okay, yeah. So once again, good job, Chief. We're going to keep our foots on their necks. And to what the sister Key just said, when they say we trying to be everything but black, just let them know that we are everything. That we are the original people of this planet, and you're not going to define me to the smallest pebble because you can't understand my greatness. That's just how I look at life. So I want to thank you all for supporting the big bro next to me, and I can't wait until we're able to see our children having their own powwows, preserving their own histories, and I could look down from the heavens and be happy about it. So thank you guys again.
In a real way, appreciate everybody coming through, pulling up on us, man. May 21st, go on, start getting your tickets and shit. Go on, start making your arrangements. It's going down. You don't want to miss it. Been in contact with some people, man. We're gonna have a nice little old setup going on. I do want to appreciate y'all pulling up. We do got the lecture. We ain't gonna have it tonight. I probably move that bitch to tomorrow, bro. I've been stuck on genealogy. I ain't had no time to study. But it'll be tomorrow, man. We'll try to get it in tomorrow. So with that being said, man, y'all be cool like y'all be cool, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Enjoy y'all weekend and American Indian over everything, man. As long as we got each other, we don't need no motherfucking body.
I think if I can ask the family to send out some prayers if you can. My elder is in and out the hospital right now. She's 98. So she's almost the last bit of information. I have my direct lineage. It's my great grandmother. So I would love if y'all can send some prayers out for her and for her recovery. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Y'all send some prayers up there for Big Mama and some healing energy out there to Big Mama in a real way. Hey, my homeboy hit me, right? My homeboy hit me. He talking about, hey, my homie hit me, right? He sent me a text message. He said I was in here talking shit about cryptos and NFTs, and I ain't said nothing about no NFTs, nigga. I said Bitcoin. This nigga and this hoe sitting in the motherfucking crowd listening to all of my motherfucking conversation, nigga. I'm trying to promote my motherfucking bill for tomorrow, nigga. I ain't said nothing about no NFT. He make NFTs. He talking about he teach people how to make NFTs. And my little sister, she fuck with the cryptocurrency, bro. And the forex. Listen, man, I'm not trying to stop y'all shine, man. What y'all got going on, man? Yeah, man, going on with that bullshit, man. I was making a point, bro, on how they finna lock the board up. Listen, bro, if you niggas want to get slaves to pick your cotton, that's what you got going on, bro. I ain't got nothing to do with no type of shit like that. I ain't said there was nothing wrong with it, bro. Get your money, get ahead of the curve. You understand me? You know, hey man, all I said was you niggas would be on the free people of color, free people of color slave master list. That's all I said, man. I didn't say don't, do what you do, bro. Nigga talking about, yeah, and yeah, shout out to 19 Keys was on the Breakfast Club yesterday, man. Yeah, one of these days this week. But go check that out though. Me and him was watching it in the car, goddamn. But yeah, shout out to man, bro. It ain't had nothing to do with it, bro. You niggas stood out, bro. It was yeah, man, my boy do NFTs and all this type of shit here, man. My little sister fuck with the Forex and the crypto. All I said was you niggas would be on the free people of color list. I ain't got, hey, man, damn. Nigga, who said something about you got 160 slaves in the backyard? I ain't got nothing to do with that, bro. Don't text my phone with that bullshit. Y'all niggas done that. Black is the new cool, man. Tomorrow, come pull up on us, goddamn.
The guarantee.